You're watching Moontower Soccer's Story of the Week, where Landon Cottam and Jeremiah Bentley discuss this week's most important, consequential, and interesting Austin FC news.
So Mike, I know we usually stick to Austin FC news, but maybe this is Austin FC news. Greg Berhalter out as U.S. men's national team coach. I'm sure is very disappointing to him and his family. But on the bright side, I think the timing works out quite well for him. He'll be able to take vacation for the next few months, take some time for himself before he moves to Austin to prepare for next season.
You're a monster, Jeremiah. You're a monster, Landon. I can't believe you would do this to me. A day where I'm supposed to be celebrating. There was a lot of soccer on yesterday between Copa America, Euros, our adoptive countries of Spain winning Euros. I was feeling pretty good. And then I went and watched the Austin Rise play their final. That result wasn't what I wanted it to be. And now I come here and you bring me this. How dare you?
Which take do you feel like you need to protect me from more? This or my John Gallagher takes?
Oh, I don't know. It depends. How far are you going to push this? Are you going to do what I think you're going to do?
About Gallagher or Berhalter?
Berhalter.
I want to have the conversation. So
no.
I tweeted a couple of weeks ago, as this was before the Berhalter news was official, but there was smoke there, right? And I try to keep hot takes to a minimum. I try to avoid troll behavior unless the perfect opportunity presents itself. And this is the thing where I was like, I actually kind of believe this is a possibility. I know it'll get people on the internet all riled up. And so I had to send that tweet. But do we think Greg Berhalter to Austin FC is a realistic possibility? He's got the relationship with Precourt from the Columbus days. From the way that they talk about each other and what I've heard as far as the Wolf Berhalter Precourt relationship is, they seem to all be on good terms still. And then he's got experience playing in the style that Rodolfo Burrell wants to play with his team. He has a pretty good MLS track record and overachieved with some pretty low budget teams in Columbus. Like, do you think it's possible?
I hate you. Yes, I think it's possible. I think there are a lot of problems. And I think the first one that we would have to solve is like what the status of restraining order against the Reynas the Berhalters have is. Because like that throws in the problems of the academy, and we know that the Reynas are still in town. So like,
there would be a possibility of Greg coaching the next son if
that's what I'm saying.
Up into the first team.
We have to figure this stuff out before we can hire Greg Berhalter. And so I think, just for everyone's ease, right? I think Greg Berhalter needs to coach a PSV Eindhoven type team. And then come back to MLS or America as a coach maybe later.
Yeah, so on the whole situation, I think this is kind of applicable to Austin FC's situation as well. But Wes Burdine, who's the owner of the Black Heart of St. Paul in next to the Minnesota United Stadium, put out a tweet last week, and it sums up my thoughts on the Berhalter situation quite well. And so I'm just going to read what he said. And he said, I think the USMNT moving on from Berhalter had to happen, but I'm fearful for the US fans out there who will have to get a new personality.
Yeah. And like that alone is reason enough for me to not want him here. Even if he had won with Columbus and those bad roster teams, like, I don't care. I don't want to open whatever social media and have to deal with it.
Yeah, I agree. Like in a vacuum, if you're just looking at like his body of work without a name at the top of the resume, I'd be like, not bad. Like not bad for an MLS coach. I wouldn't be too upset about it. But
yeah, we got a guy who was a winning national team coach who won a bunch of trophies. Like that's really cool.
But yeah, I'm not so into the idea. I wouldn't say I'm into the idea at all, but even if I were like more warm on it, I don't think it would be worth putting up the insufferable set of fans who would be up in arms about it.
Yeah, I think this is if we think the Wolf Dutt Wolf Dutt plane is a bad plane, just wait.
Okay, we have to explain this now because I don't. I think even this is like a little niche of a joke here. So before the game the other day, a group of Austin FC fans hired a plane to fly a banner over Q2 Stadium to let Austin FC ownership know that they are done with Josh Wolf. I'm just using other people's quotes to express my feelings because they said it better. But this came from Joe Lowry from Backheeled. If anybody's been curious about Backheeled, it is a great resource for little match recaps from someone who actually watches the games, which is not what you get from MLS soccer.com all the time or any of their products. Joe Lowry and I can't remember who he has doing the Eastern Conference for him, Ben something, but from what I've seen, they are watching the games and give pretty good breakdowns of everything that happens. Joe Lowry said about this game, "Do I get the timing behind the Josh Wolf out banner that was flown above Q2 Stadium on Saturday, given Austin FC had picked up results in 3 of their 4 games prior to the meeting with Seattle? No, not really. But do I think Wolf has meaningfully elevated Austin's squad during his time as the club's first and only head coach? No, not really. And is it funny that Wolf out was misspelled on the banner? Yes, it is."
Yeah. I think in general, the first part of that banner, right? Austin deserves better. Agreed pretty much universally for the city. I think there's all sorts of things that could apply to, right? The hashtag wolfout, spelled with a missing F and then a D in the place of an O. There are questions that I have about the person who printed that banner and then the pilot who attached it to their plane and said, "Good enough."
And it appears that that's where the mistake happened, not
Right.
with the fans who hired this plane.
Yeah, that is not the best advertisement for the veracity of the product that you're going to get from this organization that they've hired, right?
I was told how much it costs to do it, and it was shockingly affordable, which is maybe one of those things you're getting what you paid for.
Yeah, I was going to say, it might not be so shocking if they've only got one O. And one F at that. You got to pay extra for multiple letters.
Yeah. Is to Joe Lowry's point about the timing. I think the optics are a little odd on this given where they are. I know that they planned to fly it a couple other times and weather didn't quite cooperate. But I think any of the folks who are involved in hiring this plane and then anybody else who's upset with the state of the team right now would tell you that it's not about this game or this part of the season. This is about the collective body of work, and has little to do with current results or the last few weeks, really.
Yeah,
and
recent form aside, right? And even including it, honestly, doesn't change a lot of the complaints that these people have with the manager. A lot of which are super valid.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, anything else you want to say about the banner before we move on to the next point? Any other thoughts?
I think it's cool that we live in a place where you can just rent a plane and fly a banner that says pretty much anything. I think that that's a really fun way to express a thought. And I also think there's a little bit of I'm trying to think of the right literary term for this, right? Where our first home game, there was a plane that flew above Q2 Stadium that said Precourt is a snake. And now this match, we've got a plane flying around the stadium saying Wolf out. I think there are levels.
Wolf Dutt.
Sorry, yeah, what I meant was Wolf Dutt. I just think that there are levels, and I think it's really fun, and I think it's really no one can accuse the fans of not being passionate for the club.
Yeah, I think that's true. In a similar vein, we saw an Alex Ring quote come out from the post-game press conference the other day. And when asked about what they need to do to prepare for this game and get a result in Dallas, there were some things about recovering,
Boilerplate.
forgetting about this game, moving on as fast as possible. And then what do you need to do to get a result in Dallas? And Alex Ring, with a wry smile on his face, said, you have to ask the coach. He makes the decisions.
Yeah, and shout out to Laura Laparse for asking the question in the locker room after the match. I think the answer that Alex Ring gives to this question is the perfect plausible deniability answer, right? He's got so many years experience in this league. He knows exactly what he can say and just kind of shrug his shoulders and keep going, and exactly what is too much to say and will get him in trouble.
Yeah.
I don't think an 8-year veteran of the league says something like that on the day a plane flies, asking for his coach to be fired if he's super in love with his coach. But that's just my my read on the whole situation.
I think you nailed it though with the plausible deniability, because I think you could watch it and like make a believable argument for, yeah, he hates the coach and wants him to leave, as you could for like the look on his face is, yeah, I don't know what we need to do, man. Ask someone else.
Yeah.
But I think you're absolutely right that like there are some players who don't seem to think that much about the words that come out of their mouth
or who they're to.
Right. And Alex Ring's not one of those guys. And so, yeah, the possibility that this was intentional and pointed is very real.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I don't know Alex Ring personally, but I wish I did so that I could text him and be like, yo, dog, what was that about? So if anyone does know both Alex and myself and wants to text Alex and then text me, I would love that chisme.
All right. Anything else before we take a break and move on to the game, Mike?
No, I think I'm good.
All right, cool. Hang tight. We'll be right back with more Moontower Soccer.
If you like this video, you can listen to the full episode at moontowersoccer.com or wherever you get your podcasts.